If you have anything in particular that you would like held in prayer, start to put that in the chat. It might just be a specific area that you want to put down. It may be something specific about, physical healing or anything like that. If you have family members that you want to put in for prayer, put their names down. Everyone I consider who's in the prayer field is, of course, all of us. Anyone who responded to the email or to the text indicating that they wanted to participate, maybe could or couldn't be there, whatever. Kathy and Dan are in Utah, but moving back to LA. My friend Sonia is in Washington, D.C., where all the happenings are. So also in this point in time, put something into the in the chat about where you are with prayer right now. How are you feeling about prayer? How are you feeling about your prayers being answered? Anything else you want to put down about how you feel about prayer, what you think you may want in terms of understanding prayer better? Anything along that line. And also don't forget to put in your prayer requests. I love that. Liz is reminding us that prayer is always answered, and you don't get what you pray for, you get what you pray from. And that is something that people don't always quite know how to look at that. So maybe she'll probably speak more on that a little bit later. Judy, health and wholeness. Growing an awareness and the understanding that prayer, of how prayer works, always a good one. Absolute health and success. Move to Chattanooga. One thing that the Spring Equinox always reminds me of is the balance. In the equinox, the earth comes into balance. And in that, during this time frame, you can actually balance an egg on its end. But the thing that I want to say about this time frame is that the earth is in balance during the equinox. When this time frame happens, there are things that are in the unknown, in the unseen. And the unseen things are what is holding us together, holding us where we need to be, holding us in all that we need to think about, all that we need to do. The most important part of this is to remember that there are unseen forces that are assisting us at all times. And in our prayer work, what we want to remember is those unseen forces first. What we generally have a thought about doing, or what we're thinking about doing, what we're looking at, is we look at the tendency of what is happening, what we need to see, what we're needing to do, what from what we can see, how we can do it, how we can take charge of it and make something happen. So one of my friends who wanted to be here today fell, and she broke her shoulder in 3 places. And if you're also talking about looking forward to a healing, there's a healing that we know is happening in her body temple that we can't see. Her bones have been reset, but there is a knitting together that's taking place at that time that we can't see. We cannot identify, we cannot work in the way that we'd like it to work. We just have to know that it's already happening. We have to know that that's taking place. So whatever area you're looking forward to having your prayer work happen in, whatever area you want something to take place in, That's what I want you to think about right now in terms of having, what is it that you have going on the invisible? What is happening in your life in the invisible? What is it that's happening that you can't see, that spirit is working to make your dreams, make your activities, make your successes work? Take a breath for a moment, just for a moment. And think about what your prayer request is. And in thinking about what your prayer request is, what could be one thing that is on the invisible that is working to satisfy your prayer request? Okay. And with that, I'm going to pass this moment of additional work on to Robyn.
Thank you, Sonia. It's so great to be here. Thank you, everybody. I had invited a friend of mine who's in Australia that I do a podcast with in today, actually. And it's so interesting that you say that about all of the forces working, because I was thinking about, as we go into the spring equinox, they're going into their autumn season, whatever that is. And we were talking about on our show today how we're going into this time of renewal and rebirth and balance and awakening and all of those things. And they're going into that time of contemplation and going within. And it reminded me that of what you were saying in a different way, that there is so much always working for us to balance us out. It reminded me of, if any of you go to a center or church, or when we talk about holding vigil, and practitioners hold the space for all the newness and the goodness to come. And it felt like, wow, as we go out into this time of opening up, and they're going to be holding the space for that intimate and holding it all down. So it's interesting that the invisible. So for those of you who don't know, this is the beginning of spring, and that, like, as I said, the time of renewal and balance. And it's really the moment on our calendars that shift seasons. It's always on March 20th or 21st that spring is coming into force. And it's an opportunity for us to reflect really on our balance in our lives. And also, as Sonia was saying, it's the power of the invisible forces that are guiding our journey. And the spring equinox occurs when the day and the night are the equal length. So it started at, I believe, 5:01 this morning. And the celestial event reminds us of the importance of our balance in nature and within ourselves. And so as we transition from the stillness and the quiet of winter, we move to the vibrant energy and the new birth and new growth of spring. And it's really an opening and a call to embrace the balance in our lives. And we embrace it with the action of also the giving and receiving, and the seen and the unseen. It's a time to celebrate all the new beginnings. And I think nature begins to awaken us with flowers in bloom and leaves coming back on trees, returning to the earth, kind of new blossoms, new blooming. And in many cultures, it's also a time of planting, both literally and metaphorically. It invites us to sow our seeds and our intentions for the year. Which as I was thinking about this, it also came up for me, the importance of knowing when we're out of balance. And so it came to me that this time of spring is also, I would call it like a do-over. And I say that because in our culture, we're kind of conditioned to, at the end of the year to go, okay, what's coming up for the next year? And what are you claiming for yourself? And what are your New Year's resolutions? And which I don't really do any of that anymore. But this year I said, okay, I'm just gonna declare this year the best year of my life. I didn't really think about how or what that meant or what needed to happen. But as I was thinking about this, I was thinking, no wonder, like, when people make resolutions, they're over them by February or March, because we're doing it in the wrong season. We've started in the season where we've gone within in the winter, and we're holding things inside. And by the time when we really have the energy to come out and create, we've already failed. So it made me think about, like, the seasons are off. Like, now is when we should come alive with our ideas, and now is our chance to really, what we've pondered through the winter, be able to bring that into some kind of balance and in the world. So I guess my question becomes for you now, what are you claiming for yourself this year? Starting now, what are you ready to really plant the seeds for and create? And what do you want to look at like that? I think that amazing things have happened. And what I realize is just how frustrating it is to, like, have to incorporate that now. So letting all of that go, we want to let go and move into what is happening into our lives now. So take a breath with me. And in this beginning of spring, letting go of any old ideas. And just as you reflect on balance and your life, consider the areas in your life where you might feel out of alignment. Is there any aspect of your life maybe where you give too much, or you receive too little, or maybe you find yourself in a cycle of constantly doing without something, or not allowing enough time for rest or reflection? Is there anything that comes up like that? Just think about that. Take a moment if you need to identify that, the areas that feel heavy or overwhelming, or the areas where you might feel neglected. And just acknowledge those feelings. Maybe you want to make a note of something. And so as we move into that space and to embrace the balance, we can practice mindfulness and presence. And this may be through meditation or spending time in nature, or Maybe it's just simply pausing to take a breath, breathing deeply, but really breathing deeply and stopping yourself. And these practices just help us connect to our inner self and the world around us. And maybe we want to start to set our intentions, consider what the seeds are that we want to plant, and what your intentions are for the coming months. And maybe take a moment when you can and write them down or journal about them and visualize them just like you would if you were planting a garden, and really nurturing them to grow with your love and your care and those possibilities. And then there's the unspoken superpower that you have. And I think that's part of what Sonia alluded to. And that is the power of the invisible. And I think that the power of the invisible in this world we're living in right now, this fast-paced material world, we often focus on what we can see and touch. And some of the most profound forces in our lives are the ones that are unseen. So that's our thoughts and our emotions and our intentions and the energy that we send out. All of that helps build that invisible force field that guides us through so much of what we're going through. I think when we set a clear intention, we're sending out a vibration that aligns with our desires. And that helps us attract the opportunities that we seek. So the spring equinox invites us to connect with the invisible realm. It invites us to go to our intuition, our spirit guides, our collective consciousness. We can engage in rituals and practices that honor that connection, and we can deepen our sense of purpose and clarity if we can get still and listen. Getting still and listening to that small voice within. So everything begins with an idea or an intention, and before it manifests in the physical realm. So as we cultivate our awareness of our thoughts and our feelings, we can harness the power of the invisible and create the life that we envision. So if we stay awake and aware, there are so many ways to bring this forward, and you can't do it wrong. Spirit is bigger. Spirit will not allow us. There is no wrong to do it wrong. So as long as we stay conscious and we connect like that. So I think as we celebrate the spring equinox, what I invite us to do is to really embrace that balance in our life and honor the power of the invisible. The power of the invisible, the forces that truly shape our reality. So as you take a moment and you set your intentions and you nurture them in the coming season, what is the one place that you can let go of and take it into prayer? What is the one thing you can let go of that's been holding you down? What is that force? What is that? If it's, you don't have enough time, or you say yes to too many things, what is that one tiny adjustment you can make that we can bless right now, just in our minds? Bless that and let it go, knowing that that has served you up until now, and that you are ready to let go of it and to soar, and to truly allow this equinox to be that opening and that awakening for all of us to let go of what doesn't serve us, to plant new seeds, and to step into our power and embrace the balance and cultivate the life that we truly desire. And I think that as we do that, we are truly opening up to a space of infinite possibility. And so I just invite you to let go of what doesn't serve you, to plant new seeds, and to have a truly beautiful, transformative spring. And I pass my word to Jean.
My focus this evening is Sonia asked of the presenters this evening to think about and to speak on why they do prayer and what it means to us. And so for me, prayer has meant so much to me in my life. I could not have lived my life without prayer because I raised two boys by myself from the time they were pretty much toddlers. And I raised them by myself. And I didn't know how to raise children. So I needed prayer in order to do it with some sense that I was doing something right with these kids. And so over the years, my prayer life has changed. It went from asking God to do something for me to finally getting to a place where I am now, where I'm realizing that I need to open up a place within me so that my prayer work, whatever I'm working on, can move through me. And so that's where I am in my life right now. But over the years, I have had times where I trusted in the process of prayer to be answered in a way that I could see that it was answered. And sometimes it wasn't. So I had to look at that. Sometimes there were times when I could not pray because I didn't know who I was praying to or how to even pray. So there were times when I just would not pray. And during those times, I would just listen to the internal guidance that I had within me that I've known has always been with me from the time I was a child. So I'd learned to listen to that internal guidance that I had, and slowly I would be able to get back to a place where I could pray, still not really knowing who or what God was. And as I grew older, I began to understand that this presence that is within me is the power and the presence that is within everybody. And so lately I've been listening to more of Neville Goddard, and he reminds me of what Wayne Dyer says. When you have something that you're praying about, or you want to see your life move forward in, I can't even say manifest, because you're wanting something in your life to move forward. And so what they say is to begin with the end in mind. So what you do is to accomplish, and you see yourself already at the end game. You're in a feeling tone, feeling what it is you want to feel, whatever it is you want to happen, the fulfillment of it right now, even though it's, you can't see it, but you can begin to feel it within you. So that's kind of where I am right now, just not wanting to ask God for anything because, I was also thinking when I was thinking about what I was going to say this evening, it's we're getting ready to celebrate Easter. And when Jesus was on the cross, he said, "It is finished." And so that makes me remember that creation is finished. Everything that we could possibly desire or want to bring into manifestation to experience on this plane, God has already given us everything. And so we just remember that it is finished. We have to come to a place within us where we know that it is finished. We may not have reached that point yet, but we can know that in the mind of God, it is already done. Quantum physics tells us that everything happens all the time. I mean, it happens at once. Everything is happening all at once. And so we're moving through this parenthesis in eternity, as Joel Goldsmith talks about. And we're just in the middle of it right now. So we can move through life with our desires and hopes for a better life, even on, as we see what's going on in the planet right now, we can know that life is unfolding in a grand and glorious way, even though we can't see it. There, as Sonia said, there is something going on in the invisible that we cannot see, but there's something grander and something more glorious than we've ever seen or experienced that is happening on the side that we cannot see, in the invisible. Just like when you plant a seed into the ground, we can't see how it grows, but that seed eventually comes forward and up above the ground, and we can see a little shoot that comes through the soil. And we know that what's going to be in the end game is a finished whole plant that's just magnificent, something we might be able to eat, and it's just glorious. So if you just think about what it is right now you're holding in your heart to manifest, to come forth, something that will further your life along in a way that is more fully in harmony with what it is you want to experience. Just sit for a moment, close your eyes, and just think about that and realize that in the mind of God, it is already done. And so just allow yourself to begin to feel that, and how it feels, how wonderful the energy around you changes into living in answered prayer right now. And you can do this on a daily basis throughout the day. Just know that wherever you are, life is moving in grand and glorious ways, even though you can't see it. And that there are things going on that are happening for you that you cannot see, you can't even comprehend it right now. But there are things that are going on for you in the invisible that are bringing about your life in a way that you've never experienced it before. So I'm just so grateful that this event happened this evening, and we're allowed to have these experiences where that we can consciously co-create with God, with the presence within us, and bring about wonderful experiences that help not only our lives, but the lives of those that we come in contact with. And so I pass to Liz.
Oh my goodness, that's so wonderful and funny that you mentioned Neville Goddard, because I start my day with a reading, and lately it's all been him, all Neville,
Yes.
never listening to everything. I just love him to pieces. And Robyn had mentioned journaling, and when we come to these meetings, I actually bring my journal so that I can write down people's prayer requests as well as any insights I might garner from the sharing that we have. So a little expansion on prayer is always answered. You don't get what you pray for, you get what you pray from. So I can speak the word as an example. I want a new job. I'm going to speak the word. And I realize that right here and right now I have a new job, but right in my heart, I'm going, yeah, like that'll happen. Right here and right now, I know that the perfect and divine job is happening for me. Yeah, right. You're too old, right? So what are you praying from? And that's why I always like to meditate before I do prayer, so I can get myself in alignment, as Robyn mentioned, get myself in alignment so that I'm praying from my God self. I'm praying from my high holy self. I'm praying from it is done. So I just want to thank you, expanding a little bit on that right there. And the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, high holy self, Mishigash, whatever you call it, it is a yes machine. That's all it does. It only knows to say yes. That's all it knows. So when you say, I have the perfect job and it's absolutely marvelous, the universe says, yes. And when you say, I'm too old to ever get the perfect job again, the universe says yes and gives you more to support that thought and idea. So we want to check what we're putting into the yes machine. Are we putting in really our heart's desire into the yes machine? Or are we putting in our doubts and fears into the yes machine? Because it'll just say, yes, I'll give you more stuff to be doubtful and fearful about. Or yes, I'm going to give you more stuff to enjoy and be joyous and creative about and abundant about. So we check our thought to see what we're putting into the yes machine. So what I'd like us to do is, if you will, just kind of close your eyes. Take a breath in. Exhale. Take another breath in. Exhale. Find any tight place in your body right now. And just breathe into it. Whether it's your neck or your back or your knees or your feet, right here and right now, you are breathing light into that area and you can feel it relax. Allow yourself to feel that sense of well-being. I just want you to listen to this with an open heart. Autobiography in 5 short chapters. Chapter 1, I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. Chapter 3, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit, but my eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter 4, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5, I walk down another street. So right in this moment, I want you to just explore, what new street do you need to walk down? What hole have you kept falling in? What repetitive thought has created this hole? Just take a moment, find that repetitive thought that has dug this hole you keep falling in. I'm not enough. Nothing that good could ever happen to me. Good only happens for other people. I'm too old. I don't have the right education. What is the repetitive thought? And right now, as you find that thought, I want you to say to yourself, this is not my truth. I release it. This is not my truth. I am rising up. This is not my truth. I am free. And now, what new street do you walk down? What is the new street? It's a street of my perfect relationship. It's the street of health and wholeness. It's the street of creativity. It's the street of lush, lavish living. What is the new street you want to walk down? It's the street of service. What is your new street? Now find your affirmation for the new street. I am right now healthy and whole, experiencing joy. I am right now in my perfect divine relationship, experiencing love. I am right now in my perfect divine job, experiencing absolute bliss. I am right now in my perfect place, experiencing wealth and abundance. Find your affirmation. Now say to yourself, this is my truth, and your affirmation. This is my divine right street, and your affirmation. This is my divine right place, and your affirmation. This is my truth, and your affirmation. And now just let yourself feel grateful. How grateful and thankful my heart's desire is being fulfilled. How grateful and thankful I have let go of the holes in my life. How grateful and thankful I am standing in truth. How grateful and thankful I am. And just take a breath. It's a breath of well-being. Take a breath. It is a breath of wholeness. Take a breath. It is the breath of God. And I pass.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you. Okay, and so we're going to move into prayer. And I did not get my egg standing, but I did want to show you that this is what it was doing this afternoon. This was the egg this afternoon on the counter, standing on its end, supported by nothing. And so what I'd like for you to do is see if you can do that later on. If you have an egg, a raw egg, just give it a nice little space and see if you can stand it on its end. But right now, coming off the heels of walking down the street, just in your seat, just find a place where you can maybe turn a little bit. And I want you to pull your shoulders back, and I want you to put your hands on your hips. And I want you to just close your eyes and feel yourself in that position actually see yourself standing. And if you want to, just go ahead and stand right where you are. That is, depending on who you are, your Wonder Woman pose or your Superman pose. Just stand with your hands on your hips, your shoulders back, your head just slightly tilted upward. That is that stance of confidence, that stance of you know who you are, that stance of you know where you are, and see yourself in this position, standing on that street you just walked down. And you're not walking down that street, you're strutting. You're strutting, or you're dancing, or you're letting your hips sway in that way that you know that oh, this is the confident move that I make. This is my new walk down this street with your affirmation. Things are just happening, moving along, moving along. And take a deep breath in. Feel that energy moving through you, that it is done, that already done energy of love, of peace, of wisdom, and recognize it as the only power that there is, that power of God, that power of spirit, that power that is the omnipresent energy of this universe, that which created all that there is. How good it is to know in this moment that it lives, moves, has its beingness within me. It lives, moves, and has its beingness within each person on this call, within each person who asked for prayer today, within each person that we have holding in our hearts and in our minds, calling forth a prayer of healing for them, a prayer of success, a prayer of abundance, a prayer of joy, a prayer of understanding, a prayer of being able to move through with courage, with power, with wisdom, with understanding and knowingness, whatever it is that that person is walking through. How good it is to know in this moment that all things are working together for our highest and greatest good, because we are standing in the field of infinite possibility. We are standing in the field of all things working together for our highest and greatest good. We are standing in the knowingness that everything exists in this field of infinite possibility. The genius level spirit of God that moves through everything is moving through each one of us, each and every one of us, moving it forward so that we know where we're going. We know that there is something on the invisible that is guiding us, that is opening doors for us, that's opening windows for us, that we know that everything that our hearts desire, that has been put in our heart for our desires, has also an answer. A yes answer, that yes factor, and it is revealing itself right here, right now, on the invisible, through us, making itself visible in whatever way, shape, or form we have called forth. So this is what we're knowing, that it is already done. This is where we're standing, and we're standing in the love, the peace, the harmony, the understanding, the wisdom, the divine guidance. We're accepting that which God has for us. We're looking for the miracles that we know are already there for each and every one of us, and that each prayer that we have spoken, each prayer that is on our hearts, each prayer that we called forth in our minds has already been answered. This is what we know. This is where we stand, and I pass this to Robyn.
And so continuing in this consciousness, I know that God is, and I know that God, the universe, spirit, Buddha, Allah, Atman presence, whatever name it goes by, it is all that is happening. And it is happening in us and through each and every one of us. It is happening for all of us at the same time in every way possible. I know that we are surrounded by love and compassion and understanding and trust and faith. I know that it lives in, as, and through our very beings, that it is the soul core essence that we are made of this. And so I know that as we move in this beingness, in this divine way, that only spirit can, we move out as the force field of love, as the force field of peace, as the force field of new beginnings and passion and infinite possibility. Infinite, infinite, beyond what we've ever seen, beyond what we've ever thought, beyond what we've ever imagined. We love more than that. We create more than that. We are more than that. So I know we stand as that force field in the world, going out into the world, touching lives that we will never know, we will never see, simply because we've said yes here tonight, simply because we've opened up to this prayer field, to knowing that our thoughts are prayers, our thoughts are our prayers, and we think love, we know peace, we say yes. So I'm just so grateful to celebrate this with these like minds, these kind hearts, these that have come together in this force field of the infinite. And I know that our work continues way beyond this moment, that we take it out and we shower it like spring showers, allowing everything and everyone to open up and to grow. And I pass to
And
Jean.
how grateful I am to just continue on in this atmosphere, this rarefied atmosphere of love, of peace, of gratitude, knowing that it is done, that we have indeed opened up a space for the Spirit to move through us, to bring about that which we desire, to know that it really is not us doing the desiring, it is the living Spirit of God within us that does the desiring. And so we just allow that to happen through us. And we look up and see the good that is coming to us because we have created a space for it to move through us, to go out from us, and to meet all the people that we go out and meet throughout the day. We know that we are a blessing on this earth because we have allowed this space to open up within us and to allow the presence of God to move through us, to live through us, to be us. And so I'm grateful for this awareness. I'm grateful that it is done and that I have done the work. And I don't walk down that street anymore. I go where I am directed to go by the internal guide within me. Grateful for this word, for these words that have been spoken this evening. I pass to Liz.
Yes, how grateful and thankful I am to continue this word, this magnificent prayer field established by everyone present. How grateful we are to know that we can never be separate. God is always speaking within our soul. God is always whispering into our ear. We are always in perfect alignment. Right in this moment, we are claiming and knowing our physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and astral being are in perfect alignment with our high, holy self. So yes, we can call forth whatever our hearts desire. Right in this moment, we can call forth perfect love and joy. Right here and right now, we are claiming that our heart's desire is being fulfilled, that every aspect of our being is on fire with the Holy Spirit, and something wonderful is happening. So right now, we are claiming the truth. Good well-being, health, and wholeness is pouring in and piling up in our being under grace. Absolute joy and love is pouring in and piling up in our being under grace. Absolute wealth and prosperity is pouring in and piling up in every area of our life right here and right now under grace. God is pouring in and piling up its magnificent self in every area of our being right here, right now, under grace. So our body temple is whole. We are releasing any sense of dis-ease. Our mental temple is at peace. We know that God is on the field and in charge. Our spiritual being is absolutely in harmony with every aspect of our being and our high holy self, and all of the ascended masters in the etheric realm. Thank you, beloved Mother, Father, God. Can you feel it? I can feel it. Something wonderful is happening. We are the place of love, joy. We are the place of health and wholeness. We are the place of absolute abundance. We are the place of heart's desire being fulfilled. We are the place of God. Thank you. Ah, thank you, beloved I am. Thank you, beloved I am. Thank you, beloved I am. And I release this word into the law of mind where it is made manifest. And together we say, and so it is. Amen.
So it is,
So it
amen.
is. Amen. Just hold it for a moment. Allow yourself to feel the vibration. Allow yourself to see a picture, a mental picture of what you've called forth in your heart's desire. See it. See it made manifest. And know that it's only a representation because God magnifies it. Breathe it in and release. So it is. So thank you for participating. The thing I know is that everybody on this prayer call has a great consciousness of knowing that prayer is a powerful thing and that it works. Each one of you contributed to the fulfillment of each person's prayer, answered prayer here today. So thank you. Thank you for playing. Thank you for being here. We thank you. We bless you. The next prayer party is going to be in June for the summer solstice, somewhere around the 20th. That's all I can say right now. Thank you very much. Sleep tight.